This is a video for Finance 303 with Professor Dow, and I'm Jim Dow. In this video, we will look at some financial concerns that companies face when they're doing business abroad. We will also learn about currency appreciation and depreciation, and do a calculation that shows the effect on investment returns. As you've seen before, the basic principles you'll learn in this class apply to both domestic and international businesses. However, there are two important differences you'll find when doing business internationally. First, other countries may have different laws, cultures, and business institutions. And second, they also may use different currencies, which will require you to convert between one currency and another when making transactions. This introduces two sources of risk into our financial decision-making process. Uncertainty due to the potential future changes in exchange rates is called currency risk. Uncertainty due to potential future changes in the economic environment in a specific country is called country risk. Country risk and currency risk affect two important decisions in financial management. Many companies will be involved in projects that require manufacturing or sales in another country. As we've seen, making decisions about the desirability of these kinds of projects is called capital budgeting. Currency risk and country risk will increase the hurdle rate for projects in foreign countries, making them less attractive. Investors also will want to invest in foreign stocks and bonds to provide additional diversification in their portfolio. However, currency risk and country risk may reduce the attractiveness of these investments, and that needs to be taken into account. Formally, country risk refers to any uncertainties tied to the government, institutions, or business environment of the country. Examples include a country restricting the import of capital items needed for your project, or taxing or limiting exports of your product. Capital controls refer to a country limiting the inflows or outflows of financial capital from the country. Political instability includes a wide variety of things, everything from a socialist government taking power and nationalizing foreign investments to civil war. Generally, we won't talk about the specifics of country risk in this class. It is covered in more detail in various international management courses. But you need to know that this will be a concern when evaluating projects taking place in foreign countries. For some countries, the risk of any of these things happening is small. For other countries, they can be very real concerns and need to be taken into account in any evaluation of a business project. Currently, the value of most currencies is determined by buying and selling in the world currency markets. If the demand for a specific currency increases, its value will increase relative to other currencies. That is, it would take more units of the other currency to buy one unit of this currency. When a currency increases in value, we say that the currency appreciates. When a currency decreases in value, we say that the currency depreciates. Since the value of every currency is relative to another currency, if currency A appreciates against currency B, then currency B must depreciate against currency A. In this example, the value of the euro changes from 0.85 euros per dollar to 0.95 euros per dollar, and the euro is worth less now with respect to the dollar. The euro has depreciated against the dollar, and the dollar is worth more with respect to the euro. The dollar has appreciated against the euro. Notice that getting more euros for your dollar means that the euro is worth less. How would the change in the value of a currency affect the returns on an investment you made in a foreign country? We'll do an example using the exchange rates from the last slide. Assume that you can invest $100,000 in a European project that offers a 10% return. However, because it's in Europe, even though you start with dollars, the investment you make needs to be in euros, and the payment you get will be in euros. how would the depreciation of the euro we saw on the last slide affect your return in dollars? To find the answer, I'll go through each step. At a 0.85 euros per dollar exchange rate, $100,000 gives you 85,000 euros to invest. If your investment earns 10%, you have 93,500 euros at the end of the year. You convert the euros back to dollars. But now that the euro has depreciated, you get fewer dollars than you had at the start of the year. You end up with $98,421. And so the return on your investment in dollars is negative 1.6%. So while the underlying investment earned 10%, the actual return on your investment is negative because of the currency change. Your net return is approximately the euro return as a percentage less the depreciation of the euro as an absolute percentage. This formula is only an approximation and works progressively less well as the percentages become larger. But it's a useful way to make a quick ballpark estimate of the effect of a currency change. In this case, you would see that you would lose money on this investment, but the answer is a little bit off. Because changes in the exchange rate will affect your return when investing overseas, either for the better or for the worse, investing overseas involves additional risk. This is called currency risk. As we know from class, it is important to be diversified when making financial investments, which means including foreign securities. But it needs to be recognized that the returns on these securities can vary due to the changes in exchange rates. Similarly, companies must take into account currency risk when evaluating a project that involves selling or manufacturing overseas. Firms can avoid some of this risk by hedging their foreign exchange exposure. That is, by buying contracts that pay them if the exchange rate moves against them, but requires them to make a payment if the exchange rate increases their return. This is discussed in more detail in the department's International Financial Management course.